And welcome to your daily brew part 6. Today we're doing something a little bit different. This is not like I've tried to stay away from playing color combinations that are played a lot of ladder, and Stonescar is probably the number one offender. I think I saw a metagame breakdown where it's the by far the most played deck, but the Stonescar you see on ladder is a burn deck, and here we have something completely different. This is Stonescar Stash Control. The way the deck works is it's playing 4 of my favorite card, probably in the entire game, that I never get to play with, which is Infernal Tyrant. I think this card is incredibly sweet. It's the big. It reminds me of Grave Titan. It's just a big body that's hard to kill. Not as good as Grave Titan, but it's the best we can do in this game, so we just gotta live with it. Supplementing him is Statuary Maiden, also a great card. And Amethyst Monument as beaters. Monument is good because Maiden generates a lot of weapons, and the Monument is a good target for those cudgels because it has lifelink, so you kind of get more leverage out of them than you would in a normal creature. Which I think is good. And the best part about this list, I think, is that it's fairly resonant to removal. Really the only threat that's easy to kill with most removal spells in the game is Monument. The other two are 2 color cards that don't necessarily die to Vanquish. At least Maiden doesn't. And Tyrant is just, it dies sometimes. But we also have ways to protect them in Sabotage and for Subvert. Okay, so let's start from the top. First of all, we have 4 Chargé Flails. This is not like if you play with this card in Armory, it's not my favorite card in the world. Exactly, the fact that it has like so little armor means that you take a lot of damage attacking with it. So killing a big creature, even though it should feel pretty good, trading 1 for 1, usually hurts so much that you're not exactly feeling great about it. But the but here is that we have a shit ton of life still in this list. We have 4 Tyrants and 4 Monuments, so the list gains a lot of life, and then you leverage that life gain into using the Chargé Flail to kill things. And we also have free stash to get back flails and creatures. We have 4 Sabotage. It's a good card in general, I feel. Kills, protects in matchups, or like different protection cards in matchups where that's relevant. Takes Scouting Party, which maybe is this deck's worst nightmare. The more I think about it. It's a good card overall. Does exactly what you want it to do in a lot of matchups. Like takes the cards that turn your 1 for 1 removal worse, so that your 1 for 1 removal is better. And that's good. 4 Seek Power. I think this is just better than playing more mana. And I want a lot of sources in here because we have a 7, we have stash. We just want to play mana all the time. It might be that we're slightly too high. Like maybe you could cut 1 Seek. But I think Favor is such a good card on its own merit that you don't really have to. I could also see maybe cutting this for Caleb's Favor. Giving you slightly more interaction. It's probably good against Armory to do that, because it lets you kill weapons more easily. And it's also, actually, maybe that's the correct thing to do. We don't really have a lot of 1-drops, or we have 12, I guess. But, the more I think about it, it's good against like Alien's Favor and stuff like that too. Yeah, let's go for Caleb's Favor. I don't think we're that hungry for like we can afford to wait a turn on some spells. So Favor is fine. And like I said, Favor deals with Aegis on the face, so you can easily sneak in a Sabotage. Or like if they Alien's Favor, Subvert becomes a very bad card until you get rid of it. And I think the Favor lets us do that. Then we have 4 Suffocate, 4 Torch, 4 Annihilate as the removal suite. I could see cutting 1 Suffocate maybe for a Death Strike, but I think the Chargé Flails kind of do a good Death Strike impersonation. And Force Suffocate really makes Maiden a lot better. Being able to play her plus a removal spell on turn 5 is really strong. It also kills like a lot of good late game cards, surprisingly. I think this card is sorely underplayed. It's very good. Annihilate is just Sandstorm Titan. Yeah, arguably the best removal spell in the game. I think it goes to Torch, but it's either Annihilate, Torch, or Vanquish for sure. Quarry, not much to say about it. It's just cycling. I think if you're playing these colors, unless you have a really specific game plan, that's not even like in Callis. You obviously play it because you need to find Callis, but I could see if your deck all does the same thing, like maybe you don't want to play it in 4 Queen lists or whatever. 4 Vara's Favor, great card. I missed playing with this card so much. It's fantastic. Does everything you want. Also pops Aegis. Maiden, 4 off, also one of my favorite cards. I think this card is supremely good in a lot of matchups. Just a value unit, lets you kind of get card advantage, even though you kind of need to leverage that card advantage with these cards. 4 Subverts, 3 Smuggler Stash that I've talked about before. Subvert is one of the few ways to get true card advantage in these colors, and it also lets us kind of find more win conditions. And I just think it's a fairly strong card if you have the time to play it, which with all this early game removal, we should be able to find the time. Then we have 2 Strain to Shadow as like quarry targets, good against Scouting Party and Token List, which we could have some problems with. 4 Infernal Tyrant is also like against, for example, Praxis tokens, this is the way we win. By stalling them out with Infernal Titan. This card is very hard to attack through, and also very hard to deal with for lists that don't have Vanquish. 1 Asinda's Gift, just as a control breaker and a good quarry target. You never ever want to draw 2, so I think playing 1 is fine. We also have the long game plan here already, so we don't really need 2 of them. And the Monument I talked about, I don't really see a reason to play Diplomatic Seal in this deck. The only like double cards we have of Subvert, like these late game shadow cards and Shard Chain Flail, I actually think we should even do like this, because being able to play Shard Chain early is very important. And that's about it. Not much more to say. Let's get to some games.